Imagine walking into your dream home only to realize on the very first night you aren't alone. Or imagine a leather factory where the bathroom stalls have no locks because something on the other side refuses to let you out. Tonight, we dive into two chilling true stories: a haunted farmhouse in rural Ohio and a sinister leather plant in Michigan. For those who think the dark is just an illusion, these stories might just change your mind. Stay with us until the end, because the final mystery involves a rhythmic, ghostly chanting that still haunts our witness today. Welcome everyone, I'm Mr. Earthwise. As a dedicated storyteller on my YouTube channel, Mr. Earthwise Telling, I bring you the most chilling and mysterious true accounts from around the world. Listeners, if you have a true paranormal experience or a haunting story of your own that you'd like to share, I want to hear from you. Please send your stories to my email address, which you can find in the video description below. Your experience could be featured in one of our upcoming episodes. Welcome back, listeners. Our first story comes from Alyssa Thompson. Alyssa was born and raised in the heart of New York City. In 2017, after she graduated high school, her family decided to leave the city life behind. They moved to a sprawling, centuries-old family estate in Dalton, Ohio. The original house was an old Victorian farmhouse, almost falling apart. So, the family tore it down and built a modern, 4-bedroom home on the same plot. The layout was unique. A wide central deck connected the wings of the house. If you stood in the hallway, you could see right into the rooms if the doors were open. It was designed for transparency and easy access to the backyard. But the peace didn't last. On their very first night, Alyssa's mother had a terrifying dream. In the dream, she saw two swirling mists inside the house. One bright white, the other pitch black. The white mist was aggressively hunting the black one. The black mist darted from room to room, desperate to escape. Finally, the white mist chased the dark entity out of the property. Then, the white mist took the shape of a human silhouette and stood before Alyssa's mother. It spoke in a hollow, commanding voice. "Listen, woman, this land was abandoned for too long. Dark spirits have nested here. I've driven them out for now, but you must call a priest, hold a blessing ceremony, feed your neighbors, and pray over this ground, and the shadows will stay away." The next morning, Alyssa's mother told the family. Her father was skeptical. They had just spent a fortune on the renovation, and he didn't want to spend more on a big religious gathering. But under pressure, they agreed to hold the blessing on a Monday. In that part of Ohio, many local markets and businesses close on Mondays, so they figured everyone would be free. Here's where it gets weird. Everything was prepared, the priest was called, and the neighbors were invited, but mysteriously, not a single relative showed up. On a day everyone was supposed to be free, the house remained empty of family. In the end, only the priest and a few local kids from the street came. They did the prayers and shared the meal, but the atmosphere felt off. Shortly after, Alyssa changed. The bright, happy girl became deeply depressed for no reason at all. She made several attempts on her own life. When her parents begged her for an explanation, she couldn't give one. She didn't know why she was doing it. A local elderly neighbor, someone familiar with the old ways, gave them some blessed items, crosses, and holy oils to place around the house. But when they got home and opened the bag, several items had simply vanished, despite the bag being sealed. That night, Alyssa's mother was walking through the hallway when she glanced into the side room. The light was flickering. She saw a woman hanging from the ceiling fan. Her eyes were wide open, her feet dangling. She froze in terror. After that, the haunting went full scale. Every night, someone or something would violently shake the heavy iron back gate. They heard claws scratching against the metal roof like a giant bird, followed by the sound of someone sobbing in the dark. The family didn't give up. They began daily Bible readings and filled the home with prayer. Slowly, the heavy atmosphere began to lift. Today, the house is quiet, but they never forgot the entity that tried to tear them apart. Story 2. The Michigan Leather Plant. Our second story was sent in by Sean Miller. Back in 2018, Sean was a student at a technical college in Michigan. Due to personal reasons, he moved back to his hometown of Novi and got married. To support his new family, he took a job as a supervisor at a massive leather tannery near the Riverside area. The plant was old and isolated. On his first day, his senior manager gave him 2 chilling instructions. Never go to the back lot of the factory alone at night. Don't ask why the bathroom stalls have no locks on the outside. Sean noticed the bathroom lights were always burnt out. His mentor, Uncle Green, eventually told him the truth. 2 workers had died of heart attacks in those stalls. People would go in and something would lock the door from the outside, trapping them in the dark while screaming echoed from the walls. The factory was built over an old 19th century cemetery and a cremation ground. The bathrooms sat directly over the graves. 3 months into the job, around 2 a.m., things slowed down. Sean stepped out to the back lot to call his wife. As they talked, he wandered toward the restricted area. He saw 2 groups of women standing in the shadows, whispering. He figured if workers were out there, he was safe. Suddenly, a hand gripped his shoulder with crushing force. He spun around to find a security guard. The man hissed, "Hang up the phone. What are you doing out here? Don't you know no women work the night shift?" Sean turned to point at the groups of women he just saw, but the lot was empty. There was nothing but moonlight and gravel. Then, the guard disappeared too. Sean later learned those weren't women. They were leather demons, vile spirits that feed on raw hides. That night, a guardian spirit had intervened to save his life, but something followed him home. Even after quitting, Sean suffered from sleep paralysis. Every night, he'd wake up unable to move. He would see a dark, long-haired female silhouette drift through his bedroom wall. She would stand at the foot of his bed, just staring. A spiritual medium later told him that a child spirit from the factory had attached itself to him. She wasn't evil. She was protecting him from the demons that had marked him that night at the plant. The most bone-chilling moment happened one rainy night. Sean woke up to a heavy weight on his chest. He opened his eyes and saw the silhouette sitting directly on his stomach. She was swaying back and forth, rhythmically chanting, "God, God, God," over and over. She chanted with such intensity that she eventually collapsed onto him, her cold hair brushing against his face before vanishing into thin air. To this day, Sean still feels her presence. She doesn't hurt him, but she's there, a silent reminder of the night he almost stepped into the wrong world. Listeners, the world is much thinner than we think. Sometimes, the shadows we fight aren't just in our heads, they're in the very walls around us. Stay safe, keep the lights on, and always trust your instincts. What did you think of tonight's stories? Drop a comment or send us your own experiences.